Today our trip is to the south of where we were yesterday. Where we were yesterday is straight ahead. You can see the tip of one of the two volcanoes that we looked at, the two that were close together. And then we drove to see the lake beneath that one. And so I'm just panning south, right along the Chilean-Bolivian border to National Park Vicuñas. And we are literally parked in front of the sign, which you saw a moment ago, identifying this section. So we'll be down there somewhere. There's the tip of that large volcano to the north. I'm just going to pan down again towards the south here to look at the volcano that we're getting really close to. Actually, a couple of them. There they are. I'm going to focus closely on this one so you can see how the perfect original cone has been literally carved away neatly by whatever explosion did that. I don't think, but it's possible that that cloud is something coming out of that volcano. I'm not sure if that one's still active. But this larger volcano is active. And focusing up here, I can barely make out what I think is smoke. Yes, it is. So there's the active evidence on this one, which I saw yesterday from a distance.
Ria.
Ria?
Ria.
Oh, okay, so it's a Ria. Should be, there's two of them. Here we are. There's the second one there.
The same family of the ostrich.
Yes, yes.
Finalement, c'est comme un gros dindon, hein?
A little closer view of the vent. And also it appears that there may be some condors up there, but this distance I don't know how we would tell. Perhaps because of the flight pattern or something. I mean, the way they flap their wings. Just a pan from the north to the south, looking away from the Andes. Notice these big globs of that green algae or moss or whatever the thing is. But pretty barren from here to the coast, except where water from usually the glaciers gets into the valleys. And the llama. This is a small village that our driver is content to drive through at high speed. This is interesting because this little village has just two families. It looks pretty extended, and this is one of two churches. Also notice as I pan over the design of the roofs. At one time it looks like it was painted. In fact, when it was stuccoed and painted, there was a clock painted on it. I wonder what the significance of the time is. Looks like 2 or 3 minutes after 9. Actually, it looks like about a close-up view of this grass. It's probably the broom grass that grows everywhere. Real tough, pointy, sharp grass. Notice the solar energy here, probably provided by the government's agency on culture to preserve this kind of an economy. The only economy here is the meat from the animals. There is apparently no way to grow, no way that within the realm of these folks means to grow tomatoes, lettuce, and all that stuff. And this is it. There's a classic kind of oven for cooking meat. Saw that in Argentina. Here are what look like carefully spaced spots in rows. But when I look at them, it looks like all they are is shit from one kind of the animal. And I'm wondering, why is this pattern? What's it for? Two little pups came running out from seclusion, very, very tentatively to approach us. And it took a while for them to get used to petting them, and now they're happy. Close-up view here of the oven. And don't know, I guess the sticks are used to push things in, take them out, and maybe the metal is used to block the doorway for the oven. I don't really know. Stacks of building materials that maybe they've made themselves and just are warehousing. Now this isn't interesting because it's a float for a modern fishing net. Why is it here? And here a little child's wheelbarrow that long ago lost its wheel. A whole bunch of rayas down there. Pronunciation is Surire. Surire. Now those are the volcanoes that we were at earlier today. And we're traveling further and further south. And I think we may even be dropping in elevation a bit, because I noticed that on that hillside are either trees or very large bushes. And that indicates more water and perhaps a lower elevation. These mountains look like the burnt mountains of Colorado, Nevada, all that. And where we're going to for our last big thing is what we're seeing here. Surire, I'm pronouncing it S-U-R-R-I-E, Salts Lake. And I'll pan to the right without zooming. And then I'll zoom down. And get a closer look. Now we're free for a few minutes to do a little half-hour walk. I'll walk this way and then to the left down to the police station. This looks like a ball of grass, but when I try to touch it, they're almost like spines and they're very sharp. There are some slightly different life forms at this elevation, including this interesting cactus that is reminiscent of that pretty green algae one. Here is a sparse little habitation that's been made by someone. It looks, rocks on this side, and it looks like they once had a roof on it, but it has tin cans. Maybe it was a worker who... So somewhere from, and somehow from the mountains to the right, and presumably the glaciers on those mountains we saw, trickles water through the ground, probably becoming incredibly concentrated with borax salts, and seeps down into the lake, filling up little pools like this one, which is almost dry. Water not quite making it, not enough volume. But beyond is some kind of a lagoon. And as I look for life here, the only thing I see is a fly. And it's probably not a fly per se because it walks on water quite nimbly. There's another excrement pile, which means they must be a very tidy animal. It would appear, on what he says, if it's true, is the animals, when they have to go to the bathroom, will migrate to the life form plant. Here we're out at the actual lagoons, quite shallow. Whether it's muddy and it sink down, it probably fills up. And here's another little ecosystem with a lot of what looks like super grunge in it. Don't know why that's dark black and this is dark green. And this looks like a game trail. The only ones who could make it would be those llamas.
Ah, eso es decir, que no son militares, son policías.
Son carabineros.
Ah, ya.
Carabineros.
C'est-à-dire un policier
This is one of 3 kinds, but I don't know which of those 3 it is, or if there's more than one kind here. Presumably these are called Flamingo Andino.
Black tail, huh?
The identifying feature is the black tail. Some have a dark red color on the side and some just have the pink color.
Ya en su Bolivia. Es frontera, o sea, es divisoria. ¿Verdad? The legs are yellow, the andinos. Huh? Can you see the legs?
Not really from here, no.
Bueno, okay. Ya.
Ya.
Le lac. Sí. Los pequeños.
Says these are Andean geese, and that's probably one of the chicks.
Nous l'avons déjà dit, ce Salar de Surire, c'est voilà, prolifération de flamants roses. Et ce lac, juste pour terminer, fait à peu près 13 km². Ah, sí. Fenómeno. Fue un fenómeno.
These are thermal pools. You can see the steam coming off the pool.
¿Qué agua caliente esa?
Caliente, agua caliente.
It bubbles up from somewhere underneath the surface. We're now at the far end of the Salt Lake, and in this part of the lake is the hot springs, which bubble up right on the bottom because you can't really see it. Where it comes from. But just imagine how remote this is. It'd be great to be here with my van, because you get camp here, and there's just nobody here. We haven't seen anybody today in this part of the park at all. Whistler. Enjoying a little free swimming. Photographed by Conchetta. And over there is where we're now going, apparently. We're going to wrap around here to the right to Calcione or something like that. And that's where we'll spend the night, and then we'll go to Isluga National Park, which is where that mountain is the centerpiece, and it may be Isluga Mountain for all I know. This is Volcan Isluga that we saw a few minutes ago. You know, we're going around, in essence, to Colchón, or whatever the name of the city is we'll stay in. It's the centerpiece of the park by the same name.
Es activo, ¿eh? Es activo, ¿eh?
Esto.
Sí, tiene pequeñas fumarolas ahí, mira. Muy pequeñas, pero bien.
Este blanco.
Eso blanquito abajo.
Looking down into the valley that we'll go through. There's a small community there that we'll pass through. Sun's about ready to set, makes it kind of interesting, but the wind is cold and chilly.
Hay una señora, ¿eh? Una persona ya.
Ah. No hace.
This is a little town of Isluga, and it only has 2 families in it, but it's a fairly good-sized town so far as number of dwellings are concerned.
Una foto, ¿sí?